It's Monday, March 27, 2023. Got a lot to talk about here today. I'd love to get your thoughts and opinions. Please comment down below. Before we start, please make sure to like this video, share this video, and the best thing to do to support this channel is make sure you subscribe. There's no obligation, there's no cost, just hit the subscribe button. I want to get right into it. Markets just closed a little while ago. Everything was pretty much up. I think the NASDAQ might have been down a little bit, but overall everything looks fine. Everything is in the green. And it's amazing. If we go back 2 weeks ago, we were witnessing bank runs right here in the US. We were witnessing nearly $1 billion in deposits leaving small regional banks and heading into big banks. And then we were hearing talks of other banks that could be in trouble. And then Friday, there was talk that a very, very big bank in Europe was in very big trouble, and that bank is Deutsche Bank. And today, nobody said one word about Deutsche Bank. Everything today is absolutely fine. And as I'm watching some of these financial channels today, something stuck out a little bit. There's a commercial running, raising money for the people of Mississippi after this tornado that hit, this massive natural disaster that took place in Mississippi and other parts of the South. And it's the Red Cross asking for donations. And I'm a little confused here. How come we're able to send hundreds of billions of dollars across the globe, yet the Red Cross has to run a commercial and ask you and I to donate money to them to help the people down in Mississippi? Why is this government not writing checks? Why are they not down there right now in Mississippi, in the South, writing checks for millions, if not billions of dollars to help these people out? How come we have the time and resources to help everybody else out, but we don't have the time and resources to go down to Mississippi and write checks and help these people out? It's absolutely repulsive what is taking place and how we are just forgetting people right here in America. It's unbelievable. It's the same thing though when they're asking you for donations to take care of the vets. You know, when these guys lose their limbs, their arms, their legs, they need a house. We have to go out and raise money and ask for donations because the government is too busy sending money all over the globe instead of taking care of its own vets and taking care of people in Mississippi. Absolutely sickening. Let me know your thoughts on that. That really bothers me. We're supposedly the wealthiest nation on earth. I know, of course, the biggest debtor nation with almost $32 trillion in debt. But while we have this monopoly money, while it still buys something, how come they are not sending it down to Mississippi or to our vets so that they're being taken care of? It's up to us to donate money. And it's getting hard for people to donate money when they're not getting their tax returns back. They're much smaller, when they're fighting inflation, when they're losing their jobs. And so those donations to help the vets, to help the people in Mississippi, getting smaller and smaller. Where are the politicians? Why are they not down there cutting checks and helping out these people in Mississippi? Pray for these good people in Mississippi. Pray for the vets, and God bless America. But moving on, everyone is just pretending nothing is wrong. Think about this. Here we are today. I'm watching the television. Everybody pretending nothing's wrong. Yet 2 weeks ago, nearly $100 billion in deposit money was pulled out, going to big banks, and yet we have officials calling the system sound and resilient. Unbelievable. Hedge funds have been taking huge losses thanks to the plunge in bond prices, and we're going to see more and more of this. But hey, everything is fine. Just pretend nothing's wrong. Soaring inflation is okay as long as nominal prices of assets keep going up. So as long as the screen is green today, people will look at that and go, everything is okay because look, stocks are going up, although your purchasing power is going down. And it amazes me. People that I personally know will look at the TV today and go, oh, look, the stock market's up, everything's fine, you were wrong. Yet they have absolutely no money saved up. They have no net worth. They're behind on a car payment. They can't afford to buy a house. They can barely afford to feed themselves. They have massive amounts of debt, and they'll go, look, everything's fine because the stock market's up. You're wrong because the stock market's up and the screen is green, so everything's okay. Even these people have absolutely nothing, and they are struggling paycheck to paycheck. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Everybody, again, pretending that nothing is wrong. And in fact, these same people who pretend nothing is wrong have absolutely nothing. And they're paying more than ever to survive day to day. I think Mike Tyson said it best. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And this is what I think is going to happen to the Fed. We have a Fed now that is playing both ends of the game here. They are raising interest rates over here, yet over here they're expanding their balance sheet with more QE. I mean, think about $304 billion in bailing banks out a couple weeks ago, yet raising rates here and printing money and more QE over here. This is going to end very bad, ladies and gentlemen. The Fed has no plan. And heaven forbid anything happens to the US dollar. If the US dollar loses global supremacy, if it begins to come under serious competition from other currencies, we are going to see an absolute reckoning here in the United States. CNBC, here's why the US had to sweeten terms to get the SVB sale done. Now, it was it First Citizens that acquired it? They're going to acquire SVB and $72 billion in assets at a discount price of $16.5 billion. $90 billion is going to be kept in receivership. The FDIC is going to be on the hook for this. It says that SVB will cost the FDIC Deposit Insurance Fund about $20 billion. So this is going to be more money printing. This to me means we're going to see a lot more inflation taking place right here in the U.S. The Hedge today, Fed Vice Chair Michael Barr blames SVB collapse on inadequate risk management. And guess what? Social media. He blames it on social media. He said that social media exaggerated the risk by talking about a run on the bank. The bank failed because it was heavily invested in long-term securities to boost yield and profits, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, they did not manage the risk of interest rates going up. They also lent to risky startups. They lent to venture capital firms. They lent to tech companies. They made some really, really reckless loans, and they paid the price. But I guess the Fed just comes in and bails everybody out and everything's going to be fine. And so I guess we're at a point now where every bank will get bailed out, every depositor will get bailed out. I'm sure that at some point when everybody loses their job, maybe the Fed will come in and just bail them out and just give them universal income. I mean, this is where it's all going. Market Watch, commercial real estate, smaller banks face doom loop risk, warns Capital Economics. Commercial real estate's link to smaller banks in the U.S. is vulnerable and has not gotten enough attention, according to this article. Smaller U.S. banks account for 70% of outstanding loans to the commercial real estate sector. What's the condition of these banks right now, especially since the flight of all of these deposits that has left these smaller regional banks and gone to the big ones? Also, what's the condition of the commercial real estate market right now? I think you know the answer to that. So many people not working, so many people now, if they are working, they're working at home. They're not going to the office buildings. You look at the malls in your area, they're all shutting down. You look at the commercial office buildings in your area, they're literally vacant. You look at a lot of your commercial retail shopping areas, vacant. So who's going to be on the hook for this? It's going to be the smaller regional banks and their investors. This is going to end up, I think, to be a bloodbath. And we have yet to see some very, very serious events take place in this economy. And we are getting very, very close to it, ladies and gentlemen. How long can these buildings and malls and retail shopping strips sit vacant before at some point somebody's going to pay the price here? And it's going to be these regional banks. Disney begins their 7,000 worker layoff this week. Think about that, 7,000 people at Disney about to lose their jobs. That starts this week. Markets up, markets love it. So think about where we're at. Markets going up. So we've had bank collapses, we've had bank runs, we have thousands upon thousands of people losing their jobs. We have inflation at 40, 50-year highs. Markets are up today, and they're telling us that everything is going to be fine. You look at what's happening in commercial real estate, that's the next shoe to drop. Housing will be the other shoe to drop. And I just love how when I'm watching these television shows, these financial shows, how every day they're cheerleading the markets, cheerleading real estate. They're doing everything they can to promote that everything is okay, that everything is safe and sound when it is not. And they're really misleading, in my opinion, a lot of people into these markets, into real estate at the worst possible time. I think this is a time you want to be extremely defensive. To me, it's cash, gold, and land right now, and soon it'll be land and gold. But you do need to have some cash on hand right now to take advantage of any opportunities that are going to arise here at any given time. Really quick, we dropped off one of the Toyotas today at one of the local Toyota dealerships out here. And I'm not even exaggerating. The car lot, the new car lot for new autos at Toyota might have had 10 cars for sale, maybe 10 new Toyotas for sale, and a handful of used Toyotas. But I cannot believe what I'm witnessing take place when you go to some of these dealerships. Now, some of them have cars, some of them don't. Most of the Toyota dealerships that I've driven by do not have a lot of cars. They're very sought after. But how does a dealership survive when it doesn't have cars to sell? When you look at these multi-million-dollar dealerships and these showrooms, how in the world are they surviving? How can you be in auto sales today and survive when you have nothing to sell? So if they didn't have the service bays, I don't know, they wouldn't even be open. I mean, there'd be no reason to even be open because they have no cars to sell. But how are they paying for this? And how are the automakers going to survive when they're not getting cars to the dealerships? It's just unbelievable. Have you ever seen a time in history when you go to a car lot and there's no cars? And here we've been dealing with this for what, 3 years? And it's not been resolved. Where are the cars? Where are all the cars at? And how long do these car lots and these dealerships remain open and in business if they have nothing to sell? And at some point, they're probably not, and everything will just be done online, and they'll have service bays that you can go to and have your car serviced, but if you want to buy a car, you'll probably have to buy it online. Just really interesting times, ladies and gentlemen. Something is no doubt very broken already in this economy. When you just go out to eat and you're paying so much money to go out for lunch or go out to dinner, or you go to the grocery store and you buy the food to make, the quality is not there, the service is not there, and yet prices continue to explode. It's absolutely a shocking time. I've never thought I would ever see anything like this ever take place, especially here in the US, but here we are. And I don't know how we're going to go back to any type of normal when we're not making anything, we're not producing anything, and we see a couple superpowers like Russia and China coming together, and they're going to bring many other nations together also, where they're going to have really, I think, a new world, new currencies backed by gold, new ways to pay, new systems to pay. You have Saudi Arabia now dealing with China and talking about taking yuan for oil, and they're going to cut deals with other countries. It's not going to just be the dollar, and people don't realize while they're out playing golf today, while they're watching cartoons, while they're watching their Netflix, while they're in La La Land, they have no idea what is happening behind the scenes. And you have to be preparing for this right now. There's so many people that make these videos and tell us, everything's collapsing, this is going to collapse, that's going to collapse, this is going to collapse. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And it's not just financial. Of course, you better have assets, real tangible assets. You better have a cash reserve put away. But all this is going to spill out socially. There's going to be rebellion. You're going to see pensions collapse. And when you do, when people don't get their money, when they go hungry, they're going to be angry. And when they're hungry, they're going to do some stupid stuff. and people are going to go into survival mode. And, you know, that means that you may have to deal with this, because if somebody knows you have food, they're going to come to your house because their kids are starving. They're not going to care about you or your kids. They're in survival mode. They're going to care that they eat, that their kids eat. They're not going to care about you. So you have to be aware of some of the dangers that are coming, not just what's going to happen financially. Look, we all know what's going to happen financially. I mean, people, like, we can talk about it every day, but you've got to have some solutions and preparations for the fragmentation, for the fallout, for the repercussions. And the repercussions are going to be violence. It's going to be chaos. What are you going to do about it? If you think the police are going to come save you, you're absolutely out of your mind. If you really truly believe that things are going to collapse, that we could quite possibly see a currency collapse, that we're going to see more bank collapses, that we're going to see pension collapses, that we're going to see economic collapse, then why are you not preparing for it? Gold and silver is great. That's going to be wonderful for purchasing power. But let me say this. As gold gets more and more expensive, it's really a barometer of danger. The more expensive gold gets, the more dangerous it is going to be for you to leave your house. So gold's sitting at almost $2,000 an ounce today. A lot of crime out there, but you know, I'm leaving my house. I'm not too worried about it. Gold gets to $4,000 an ounce. Something's happening. Gold gets to $5,000, $6,000 an ounce. You better be exercising some caution when you go out. Gold gets to $8,000 to $10,000 an ounce. You're not going to want to leave your house. You're not going to want to open your front door. And so how are people going to protect that gold? How are they going to protect their food? How do they protect their family? How do they protect anything? You got to think about these things. And do you think about maybe moving, getting to a better location, maybe a little bit more rural, maybe to a safer state, maybe to a safer county? These are all things we need to be exploring and talking with family members about. Maybe if you have the ability, the means to move, maybe it's something you should be talking about. If you don't, then what kind of security plans do you have? What kind of emergency plans do you have? Do you have a place maybe you can get to? Do you have enough food and water and things like that? There's so much to think about. Do you have a generator if a grid goes down? There's so much happening, so many moving pieces to this whole thing that if you ignore it, I think you're going to regret it. So don't ignore what is happening. Pay close attention. Absorb as much knowledge as you can. Start thinking outside of the box. That what if this happened? What if that happened? What if that happened? What if that happened? What would you do? And at any weak links in your preparations, this is the time right now to fix those links and get those links solidified. I'm going to leave it there today. God bless every one of you. A lot happening. It's going to get much worse. Question is, what are you going to do about it? What preparations can you make right now to put the odds in your favor to make sure that you and your family are safe? If you have some ideas that we can add to our preparations, please comment down below. Would love to know what they are. I mean, do you have a generator? Do you have enough food and water? Do you have a way to heat them? Do you have enough propane, wood, charcoal? Do you have a smoker? Do you have a grill? Do you have the Coleman? Do you have the jet oil? Do you have candles? Do you have security? Do you have tangible hard assets? Things like this. Do you have a good dog? I mean, a good dog is a great alarm system, gives you enough time to get to the tools needed to protect your house. And they're also a great deterrent. Do you have enough food put away for your dog and your animals? Think about this stuff. So there's so much out there. And this is we're just touching the surface here. There's so much more. Do you have extra boots, extra jeans, extra socks? It just goes on and on and on. But, I think if everybody just made a little sacrifice, put down the latte from Starbucks a couple times a week and just started adding a little bit more to the preparations, they're going to sleep a lot better at night. I'm going to leave it there today. God bless every one of you. Please like and subscribe. And as always, I look forward to speaking with all of you very, very soon. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts.